He's going to get a lot of heat from the pro-choice crowd.
I hope he does.
Listen, the 100 days, which goes back to Roosevelt, where this all started, which we're celebrating tonight. At least some of us are celebrating tonight.
Just stop. Now, I'm getting sick to my stomach.
Wait a second. Franklin Roosevelt stepped into a terrible economy. We all know that. And so did Barack Obama. The difference is Barack Obama also stepped into 2 wars. This is the greatest presidential 100 days since Franklin Roosevelt, bar none. And I'm proud to see him. If I could give him a grade better than A+, I would. Right. Now, are you ready to get sick now?
Yeah,
that's what I thought. Just looking at you.
All right, but let me dispute it this way, because there has been no single president, we got into this with Karl Rove earlier, that has moved America away from free market capitalism to socialism. When you add up the numbers, he's going to quadruple the debt, $10 trillion, $806 billion on interest. Now, these are real numbers that we're going to ultimately pay for. A down payment of $634 billion on health care. On national security, embracing every dictator, cutting back on national defense, apologizing for America, Bill Cunningham. I think it's beyond a pre-9/11 mentality. It is America, the appeasement mentality.
Sean, what we have here is this little boy who grew up in Jakarta, Indonesia, at the age of 6 to 10, rejected by his own father, rejected by his own mother, rejected by his stepfather, raised by his grandparents, bowing before the king of Saudi Arabia, kissing the behind of every European socialist, saying okay to people like Ahmadinejad. We have the most disreputable, the most dishonest 100 days in American political history, and this guy actually believes it's good. This is unbelievable.
Let me just say something.
This is unbelievable.
You and Hannity are frozen in the 50s. I got to tell you, Elvis is dead and Beaver has grown up, okay? Look, what you have to keep...
By the way, Beckel spent all day writing that line. Go ahead.
I didn't.
That's a good line. That's a good line.
Just changing, believe it or not.
I say leave it to the Beaver.
Okay, look, exactly right. You guys, you should get back in the 50s, you'll find black and white. What did you guys expect him to do with Chavez? We buy his oil. Do you expect him to kick his feet? Spit at him?
Wait. Why would an American president, let me throw this to the uncharacteristically quiet Geraldo Rivera, what are we supposed to do when he's sitting through a 50-minute anti-American diatribe by Ortega and taking an anti-American screed from Hugo Chavez, who calls America Satan and has called America every name in the book?
Every analysis I have seen, and remember, Latin America is my specialty, and I've just finished another book about it, indicates that the people of Latin America believe that this has been a watershed moment. This is a transformational president. He is healing the divide with our Western hemispheric partners. And Karl Rove said earlier, well, wait a second, this was going to be the humble president, the humble foreign policy. That was George Bush in the year 2000
let me get a word
who said we have to have a more humble foreign policy.
Wait a minute. You saying that what is acceptable in Latin America is that a president that sits there and hears anti-Americanism from a two-bit murdering thug dictator, Daniel Ortega, that's acceptable? That's America's foreign policy?
What would Reagan do? Would Reagan sit there and allow 45 minutes of anti-American diatribe?
Whenever you guys stop with the ping-ponging here, what he did there was...
By the way, this is conservatism in stereo.
The truth in each ear.
May I?
Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
What he did was to be gracious, to extend the hand of America, and to say to those people, let's do business, let's get on the same boat together. We can work.
They trashed our country, Geraldo. They were trashing America.
Sean, what has the arrogant, unilateral foreign policy of the last 8 years achieved?
You're calling America arrogant?
Please.
Wait. I got America that beat back totalitarianism, Nazism, fascism, and we're paying the price for terrorism.
Ignored Europe, ignored China, ignored India.
Them. We saved them.
We are now making common cause against anarchy, against totalitarianism. Daniel Ortega is a two-bit tin-horn dictator who has no impact. What is? Does the president of the United States go? Let's have a street fight. A street fight with a newspaper boy?
What about the Castro brothers locking up dissidents and killing people all the time?
Excuse me, wait a second. Now, you're talking to the guy who you guys, I know, have marked the state in your memory, who managed the Panama Canal Treaty and got...
Another big mistake of Jimmy Carter. I'm glad you pointed it out.
You know, I'm surprised you would say that.
Another big mistake of Jimmy Carter.
I know, we bought it, we paid for it, we dug it.
Right now.
If you wanted to have bad relations and realize how bad relations were in Latin America before the Panama Canal Treaty, we were supporting every tin pot dictator there was.
You're living in the 1950s.
No, I'm not living in it. We got out of that by giving the canal back.
Why do we give the canal to the people like...
No, I bet you can't can't sleep at night because you don't have that canal.
I want the canal back. Can I go back and get my canal back?
Built it, paid for it.
It's only 40 years
canal.
ago.
That's another mistake of your guy.
Country, dude.
Yeah, but it's our canal. We fought and died for that. We built the damn thing.
What about the Statue of Liberty? France built it. Is France?
They gave it to us.
Statue of Liberty.
We didn't give them. We didn't give them. No, we didn't.
Yes, 1977, the treaty.
No,
I was
we didn't.
there. I was in Panama.
It's our Statue of Liberty. I say Statue of Liberty belongs in Cuba and belongs in Venezuela.
Exit question. We got an exit question.
Yes.
Shouldn't the President of the United States, if he's hearing an anti-American diatribe, doesn't he have a responsibility to stand up at a pride of his country that has defended liberty and freedom around the world and leave?
Let me just make one point to you. Ronald
Can
Reagan
you say
went
yes
to
or no to that?
I can say this. Ronald Reagan went to the UN and listened to a number of people trash the United States. It's part of diplomacy.
And he
had enough sense not to walk out. And I don't know what you expect. At the beginning of a meeting of the Latin American countries, the President of the United States should walk out.
Barack Obama insulted the Fox News channel, and those that go, you're shocked.
I didn't hear him say anything.
Do you know how many times he's attacked me?
And
he only helps your
so.
ratings.
How many times have you attacked him? I mean, what are you kidding me? The guy takes a couple of shots at you. You spend your entire life beating up on the guy.
Yeah, but Hannity's right and Obama's wrong. That's
not the point. I mean, how can you sit there and say that? He beat me up a couple of times.
Well, he is the President of the United States.
Listen to Hannity's radio shows I do every day, and you'll hear it.
It's wonderful. It's great. It's a great opening.
All right, let's show this attack against the Tea Party
folks. Let's bring
folks.
the Reverend Wright in after that.
Yeah, right. That's a good one.
Yeah.
So, when you see, those of you who are watching certain news channels that on which I'm not very popular.
He said that when the anchors don't particularly like me very much, I don't know how you read that as an insult.
It's not the main guy on MSNBC that's where it
Geraldo
depends.
could get away with saying that.
All right, but
the point, this is the greatest grassroots movement in the last 30 or 40 years. And guys like Beckel are scared to death about the Tea Party.
I want to know where
Those
the
are the
crumpets are.
seeds
And
of the
where's the
destruction
Queen?
of Obama.
So
seeds of destruction.
How do you feel about his 64% approval rating?
Well, I'll tell you what, not as high as George Bush's at the same time in 2001.
It's as high as Ronald Reagan.
No, it's true. No, these are facts. You have the right to your own opinion, not your own facts. Bush had a higher approval rating in 01 than Obama right now, Geraldo.
You're cherry-picking your studies.
No, you say something that's wrong.
If you look at Real Clear Politics, look at the composite of all the surveys.
He's got
64%,
but he also is the
which
most
is higher than Bush.
How about the disapproval rating?
If 64% approval, how big could the disapproval be?
Something in the mid-20s because he's such a divisive character.
Mid-20s is divisive?
Let me just say
he is very divisive.
I take that deal any day.
To normal Americans, he's very divisive.
Oh, please, listen, you're a normal American?
I'm a normal American. He's normal. I'm not so sure you guys are normal.
Geraldo, don't take him too seriously, because if you do, you'll have a stomach ache. Bill, let me just make a couple of points about you and Hannity. I think you guys on the right ought to be now qualify under the Civil Rights Bill for protection for minorities.
You mean that the Republicans
there are so
passed
few
in
of you left.
1964?
That's right.
The Republicans passed it.
I know
you
that.
Democrats opposed it. Republicans passed it.
I listened.
He signed it, but the Republicans passed it.
I listened to you. I know you. So I'm not biting. Now,
let me ask
but you're good at it.
Thank you.
You're very good
at it.
Thank you.
Well, you are
Aren't you the one that said his middle name, Hussein, a lot?
Oh,
yeah, no, he said at the inaugural. He said Barack Hussein.
You have a problem with that?
Oh, come on. What was his intention?
What was
his intention? Your intention was to portray the President of the United States, or then the candidate for the presidency, as a foreign person, as a them, as opposed to an us. You went out of your way to try to make him seem
that
different.
proves to me you're not ready for a black president, because you're not ready to call him by his own name.
I actually think he's the first Latino president.
$4 trillion $10 trillion in debt is what Obama's now proposing. How does America sustain that, Bob?
Well, one of the things I think, if we listen to him a little bit here, as opposed to, and by the way, just quickly on that subject, that was, remember, 15% of the people thought he was a Muslim then in the polls as we were polling, and everybody was stirring it up a little bit, Billy.
Not me.
But, oh, no.
I just used his name.
That's what I love about you. You never
said 20 seconds.
Okay, if we listen to what he's talking about, if we don't get a better education system, we don't get independent energy here, we're not going to have an economy that can outgrow this debt. That's what he's talking about. We always take the debt and you isolate it out. Your answer is still the same thing. Cut taxes on rich people. It didn't work. It won't work. It will never work. And it's time for you to recognize the only organization in this country that's big enough to get us out of this is the United States government.
I'm going to give you the last word. That's it.
There hasn't been many other words here, except for these two guys.
All right. Now.